Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff, and this is our daily lectionary readings for Monday, February 5th, 2024. With it being Monday, we're reflecting back at what happened at church on Sunday. Our psalm reading today is Psalm 102, 12 through 28. Our Old Testament reading is 2 Kings chapter 4, 8 through 17, and then verses 32 through 37. Acts 14, 1 through 7 is our New Testament reading. Psalm 102, 12 through 28. Yet you, God, are sovereign still, always and ever sovereign. You'll get up from your throne and help Zion. It's time for compassionate help. Oh, how your servants love the city's rubble and weep with compassion over its dust. The godless nations will sit up and take notice, see your glory, worship your name. When God rebuilds Zion, when he shows up in all his glory, when he attends to the prayer of the wretched, he won't dismiss their prayer. Write this down for next generation, so people not yet born will praise God. God looked out from his high holy place. From heaven he surveyed the earth. He listened to the groans of the doom. He opened the doors of their death cells. Write it so the story can be told in Zion, so God's praise will be sung in Jerusalem's streets. And wherever people gather, along with their rules, to worship him. God, sovereign, brought me back to my knees. He cut me down in my prime. Oh, don't I pray, please don't let me die. You have more years than you know what to do with. You laid the earth's foundation a long time ago and handcrafted the very heavens. You'll still be around when they're long gone, threadbare and discarded like an old suit of clothes. You'll throw them away like a worn-out coat, but year after year you're as good as new. Your servants' children will have a good place to live, and their children will be at home with you. Our Old Testament reading, 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 8 through 17. One day Elijah passed through Shunem. A leading lady of the town talked him into stopping for a meal, and it became his custom. When he ever passed through, he stopped for a meal. I'm certain, said the woman to her husband, that this man who stops by with us all the time is a holy man of God. Why don't we add on a small room upstairs and furnish it with a bed and a desk, chair, and a lamp, so that when he comes by, he can stay with us? And so it happened that the next time Elijah came by, he went into the room and laid down for a nap. Then he said to his servant Gehazi, tell the Shunammite woman I want to see her. He called her, and she came to him. Though Gehazi, Elijah said, you've gone far beyond the call of duty and taking care of us. What can we do for you? Do you have a request that we can bring to the king or to the commander of the army? She replied, nothing. I'm secure and satisfied in my family. Elijah conferred with Gehazi. There's got to be something that we can do for her, but what? And Gehazi said, well, she has no son, and her husband is an old man. Call her in, said Elijah. He called her, and she stood at the open door. Elijah said to her, this time next year you're going to be nursing an infant son. Oh, my master! Oh, holy man, she said, don't play games with me, teasing me with such fantasies. The woman conceived a year later, just as Elijah had said. She had a son. Later on, Elijah entered the house and found the boy stretched out on the bed dead. He went into the room and locked the door, just the two of them in the room. and prayed to God. He then got into bed with the boy and covered him with his body, mouth on mouth, eye on eye, hand on hand. As he stretched out over him like that, the boy's body became warm. Elisha got up and paced back and forth in the room. Then he went back and stretched himself upon the boy again. The boy started sneezing. 7 times he sneezed and opened his eyes. He called Gehazi and said, "Get the Shunammite woman in here." He called her, and she came in. Elijah said, "Embrace your son." She fell at Elijah's feet, face to the ground in reverent awe. Then she embraced her son and went out with him. The New Testament reading, Acts 14, 1 through 7. When they got to Iconium, they went, as they always did, to the meeting place of the Jews and gave the message. The message convinced both Jews and non-Jews, and not just a few either. But the unbelieving Jews worked up a whispering campaign against Paul and Barnabas, sowing mistrust and suspicion in the minds of the people in the street. The 2 apostles were there for a long time, speaking freely, openly, and confidently, as they presented the clear evidence of God's gift, God's corroborating their work with miracles and wonders. But then there was a split in the public opinion. Some siding with the Jews, some with the apostles. One day, learning that both the Jews and non-Jews had been organized by their leaders to beat them up, they escaped as best as they could to the next towns, Lycaonia, Lystra, Derbe, and that neighborhood. But then they were right back at it again, getting out the message. And here ends our readings for the day.